Hi, today we're going to install the GreenWave Solo. The GreenWave Solo helps to reduce scaling by encapsulating or coating the actual pipes. This prevents the calcium and the magnesium from sticking to the pipes, the faucets, things like that, because this provides a coating for your entire plumbing system. The Solo should be installed after any pre-existing equipment. If you have like a carbon filter, or you have sediment filter or whatever, we actually recommend that you do put something like that in front of it. However, we do sell it as a Solo unit for the people that already have that in place. The numbers that we give as far as usage and the volume of water that you get are dependent upon regular household use. If you're going to use this for irrigation and like topping off swimming pools and spas and things like that, you're not going to get the yield out of it that we're claiming. So keep that in mind. It won't hurt to go through those entities. It's not going to hurt anything, but you're going to deplete the cartridge much sooner. If that's the case and that's something that you want to do, then so be it, but I just want to make that clear. Now, we want this at the interim of the house, typically before the hot water heater, like I said, after any other filtration. We don't need a drain or anything like that, so really it's just something that we're going to put in line in our plumbing system. So first and foremost, we're going to shut off our plumbing, which I did here, and then you're going to go downstream and open up a valve or something that's going to relieve all the pressure. But once you relieve the pressure, then we're going to actually install the GreenWave Solo. The GreenWave Solo is going to come with these actual swivel adapting nuts. So when you get it, if they're not on there, you can go ahead and spin them on. The good thing about these, they have an actual rubber seal in here, so you don't have to use Teflon tape for these connections. Now, other connections, where there's threads, that may be necessary, but since these are actually sealed off using that rubber gasket, we don't need to do that on this. One other thing that I want to point out on this particular unit is the flow redirection arrow. I don't know if you can see that. Can you get in there? Yeah, so it's crucial that you have the flow direction facing the right way. If it's in the wrong way, there's actually a check valve in here, so no water will come out. So if you turn this on and suddenly you don't have water in the house, you may have that backwards. You just need to flip that around. So what we need to do next is choose a good location. This is obviously a test rig that we have set up here. I have the water shut off, and we're using PVC pipe. So we would have to do some gluing here. If you want to use copper or existing copper, that's fine too. I suggest that you do all your soldering and everything before you put this into place. Typically when you cut a pipe, you're going to be able to move it out enough to kind of get this to get in place. If not, you may have to unsecure one side of the plumbing system to pull it one way or the other to get this in place. But what we're going to do now is we're going to cut some pipe and get this kind of lined out, and then we'll show you how we're going to put it together. First and foremost, I'm going to cut this pipe and get it out of here. So once we get this cut out of here, we'll start the first piece and we'll go from there. So like I said, we're actually using Schedule 80 PVC. You may have Schedule 40 in your home, or you may have CPVC or whatnot. But what I did is I took the male adapters and we went ahead and screwed these in here tight. I mean, not completely tight, but snug enough that we know we don't have any play here. And that's what I used to actually do my cutting. I put it in place. Now I've unsecured that, but that's what I did is I put it in here and I measured my two fittings, and then I knew where to cut the plumbing. So, and then once we do that, now we're going to glue all these fittings onto here so they're ready to go. And that's what we're going to do next. Okay, now basically what we've done is we removed those fittings from the GreenWave module and we've glued them on our existing pipe. Again, I have this pipe loose, so I have some play here, and you're going to have to do that as well when you install this. Now, again, keep in mind about this arrow when you install it, and you're basically just going to screw these on here. Again, you have these sealing rubber or seals that are going to seal off here, so we don't really need to Teflon tape this. So we're going to screw this side on first and get it started, somewhat snug. And Screw the other side on here. Till it's snug. And then I would recommend tightening both sides with channel locks to make sure that they're tight. If you don't really need to put a channel lock on here, you can kind of hold it with your hand, but as far as your plumbing fittings, you can go ahead and hold those in place when you snug this down. Okay, once you're done with that and you have everything tight here, then you're going to secure your plumbing to make sure everything's not going to droop or sag or anything. Once you've done that, then we can actually start to slowly turn the water on. But what we want to do is we want to open up a faucet downstream. That way, as we're turning the water on, we're kind of pushing the air out. And then make sure that any other joint, like I said, these threaded joints, we don't have to Teflon tape, but any other threaded joint, you're going to have to Teflon tape within your plumbing system, however that may be laid out. So once we have this in place, make sure this is tight. The system will come with a little wrench with some grooves in it, and that will help you to make sure it's snug in there. And you can keep that wrench around because you'll need that when you change your module, or your actual cartridge, that is. So once we have this in place, we got a faucet open up downstream, then we're going to slowly turn the water on. We don't want to just slam this with water and hit this hard. We want to go really slow and slowly feed it. And you'll see water come in here and start to fill this up. So, once you hear most of the air escape down line, then you can go ahead and open up your water full force and then watch the water downstream. And once it goes clear, you're ready to go. The cartridges should last around 2 months for regular household use. If you have a lot more usage or you're using it for irrigation and things like that, then you need to understand it's going to, your yield's not going to be as good. We based this off of just typical household use. I think the average person was using 50 to 75 gallons per day, somewhere around there. So after that 2 months, you're going to want to change this filler cartridge, and we're going to do a separate video to show how to change the cartridge, because that's going to be kind of universal depending on which type of GreenWave system you buy. But again, this is a GreenWave Solo system, pretty simple to install and really effective alternative to salt-based water softeners. We've had many different salt-based technologies, and this is something that's tried and true, worked for a long time, and it's a little bit easier to manage and more economical. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy your water.